Hello, today we are doing a show that many of you have requested called Indian Matchmaker, which I found on Netflix. Apparently, this show is about Indians who want to date other Indians specifically. You know what? If Dev Patel can do the accent in Slumdog Millionaire, so can I.
Are you nervous?
The point is, this show has been on my mind for the longest time. I discovered it in 2020 when it first came out and when I was stuck in the house, and I did not stop watching it. It turns out it has 3 seasons, 2 of which are decent, 1 is horrible, and the show itself is one of those so bad it's good shows.
Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about.
So today I decided to take a deep dive into the show Indian Matchmaking. And yes, I am in a kurta. Please follow me on Instagram and DM me, tell me if you like the color and fit. While you're at it, do subscribe, because if you don't, I'm going to go on Indian Matchmaking and find a horrible wife. And I say that because the only person who would find me that wife is the show's host. Her name is Sima Auntie, and she is basically the fax machine of Tinder. By that, I mean she's literally the oldest school person in the world, and her values are as outdated as her methods. After watching the show myself, I can safely say I feel like this show does everything it's not supposed to when it comes to Indian matchmaking. It sort of promotes the arranged marriage lifestyle and everything that we've grown accustomed to not having in the Western world. It also does offer insight to how people still view certain people, caste, type, and stuff that I probably should be talking about and have definitely dealt with in my life, but at the same time probably is a foreign concept to a lot of Western audiences. So the show is not bad per se, but the way it's done is horrible. In fact, it holds a 38% on Rotten Tomatoes, and anything under 50% on that site is pretty horrible. Wow, when I looked at Google, most people really like it, but some people absolutely hate it, and everyone seems to have a very long opinion. I wish someone would just call it trash, but if no one else does, I will. Let me write a review right now. This show suck ass juice. Awesome. As I said, today we're going to take a look at the show. If you're not brown, you'll probably love to see how this actually works. If you are brown, you're probably going to have a little PTSD. Either way, let's get into it. Indian Matchmaking Season 1. I've picked the specific few people that I wanted to talk about. There's also, for a filmmaking perspective, people who come in episodes 6, 7, possibly 8. It features no resolutions, I'm already telling you that right now, and I don't know how this even got passed as a series. Sima Auntie narrowly defeats the likes of that dude from that band who runs that stupid show Love is Blind to become the worst host. But it's a very close. Nick Lachey is not that good. Alright, let's watch this crap.
In India, marriage is a very big industry.
That's probably the best opening line that you'll see in this series, and probably the most honest thing in the show. India's whole tradition of weddings sometimes can range for 7 days.
In India, marriage is a very big industry.
You're gonna get married in 7 days.
And it's not your common white wedding, is it? Their festivities are wide and vary. I guess for a lot of people, this is the coming together of two families, not just love, but also as much a monetary thing as it is love. For a lot of Indian families, it's more than just compatibility of two people. It's the compatibility of the families. That's important to note.
In India, we don't say arranged marriage. There is marriage and then love marriage. The two families have their reputation and many millions of dollars at stake.
Another amazing thing to note, yes, in India, arranged marriage and love marriage, just normal marriage is arranged, then love marriage is like, so the families hated them, but you guys love each other. Okay. Western society, we call it love marriage, and oh, what the is that?
I'm Sima Taparia. I'm Mumbai's top matchmaker. I like to meet people in the airport or in the market or in the mall or anywhere.
All right, so I'm sorry. That's Sima Auntie, the host, and she is India's top matchmaker. But honestly, according to who? I just want to tell you, big spoiler alert here, In the 3 seasons she's run the show, nobody has achieved success. Her success rate is 0. How can you possibly have a success rate worse than f***ing Love is Blind and still say you are India's top next matchmaker? That's some bullshit on another level. Every time this person ever gets a match, it goes horribly wrong, and then she blames the people and then just finds someone else. She's really not what you want. Like, say you went on Tinder and you were swiping right, but instead of Tinder being an app that sorts an algorithm out for you and determines the best possible matches, it was your grandpa Carl, who's 98 years old and has some kids that he saw back in the day that might suit your fancy. This is Sima, auntie.
I'm Sima, mommy. I'm a matchmaker. Bangkok, Hong Kong, America. It's just a word of mouth. So I go personally, I fly, meet them.
She doesn't even know what the internet is. She meets people by word of mouth. Have you ever known a business before 1923 to operate on word of mouth? Is that really even still a thing at this point? The internet exists and she's going around shouting at airports, "I'll find you a husband!"
I visit their house. I see their lifestyle. I see the nature of the girl or a boy. I study my database of all the clients and go for a good fit.
Oh yes, she also calls her clients database and she calls the clients biodata, which just makes it really funny. Like she's actually studying this shit. You can imagine Batman in the Batcave and Alfred is like some Indian dude being, "Do you want a coffee, chai, anything? Okay." She's just like studying the people.
They're saying, I want slim, tall and beautiful, but with a good nature. From a good family, good education. Very difficult to match all these criteria.
So Sima auntie has sort of a catchphrase. And her catchphrase sort of goes like, anytime anybody has criteria, she's like, "You're asking for too much. Take 70%, 60% of what you want." Anytime anyone has criteria over, is he breathing? Hopefully he's a decent person. She's like, too much, pick one. Breathing or good person. Can't do both. That's basically all this is. She's got a catchphrase and you're gonna hear a lot of it. She just complains every time anyone has a specific set of criteria, which, again, not only is there nothing wrong with that, it's actually good to be picky, because the less picky you are, the more you'll just settle for anybody. And settling in this world is just not worth it, in my opinion. Sorry, Sima auntie.
I don't understand all this.
And horoscope is the main thing in India. 95% of the people, they match horoscopes.
Who even needs you then? I'm sorry, but who needs, if 95% of India matches because of horoscopes, you might as well just have a tarot reader or something match everyone. Which, by the way, Sima auntie does use a lot of. Not only is she the matchmaker, but she goes to face readers, palm readers, astrologers, astronomers, meteorologists. She just goes to every person besides her, and somehow it never works out still. So, but finally, we get to meet the first person on the show, and her name is Aparna, and she's probably the villain of the show.
I'm a lawyer and I volunteer and I travel everywhere I can. I'd like to settle down. I'd like to move forward and get married, but it can't be with just anybody.
So, yes, this is a forward-thinking girl who is independent. She's on her own shiznit, and she wants to find someone who's on her level, so to speak. Nothing wrong with that.
So what do you do, Aparna?
I'm the general counsel for an insurance company here in town.
If the females are lawyers in India, people are scared.
Ooh, that's backwards. That's why. Good thing she's in Houston, Texas, then, where they shouldn't be scared.
Hey, Patrick, what am I now?
Stupid?
No, I'm Texas.
What's the difference?
I will say there's a lot of that sort of hierarchy, patriarchy, misogyny in this, and there's a lot of that old school shit there, where Sima auntie will be like, "Ooh, what are you, a lawyer? Ooh, forward-thinking woman?" Ugh. Very like 1840s type thinking sometimes. It's not even her fault. She's just saying what people in India apparently are like. I don't think everyone in India is scared of a lawyer if they're a goal.
Before. So have you dated before?
I've tried to use the dating apps before. I haven't had any luck meeting someone that fits.
So there's two things going on here. Sima auntie is working on the 1840s angle of trying to get her to be younger and also more subservient, which is not going to work. And the second thing is Aparna she knows what she wants, and that's good. But at the same time, There's some stuff about her which is like, girl, you need to check yourself before you wreck yourself. First thing is that she goes to the same place every time so that the dates never go awry. And while that in theory seems good, she's limiting herself from ever having these opportunities that she cannot account for.
55-minute dates there, and I literally give the person an hour, and I'm like, this is the greatest place ever.
I mean, that's really good. But at the same time, love doesn't have a time limit, you know? You don't just go there and you're like, if 1 hour I don't find love, I'm gonna leave this bitch-ass place. Or if you're on a date, you have 1 hour to impress me. I'm Randy Jackson. If you don't sing really well, I'm leaving. I get it. I understand. She's a lawyer. She's efficient. I get that. But love doesn't always come on time. Toto said that. Hold the line. Love isn't always on time. And they also sang Africa, which is the theme song for a continent. So they're right.
So what's your preferences? Like, what you prefer, that he should be Indian or American?
Maybe even both, Sima auntie. Believe it or not, there are Indians in America, actually. Should he be Indian or American? Pick one. You can't do both. Hey, what? Not. Okay. Chinese? I don't know nothing about that, okay? Indian or American? I know 3 people from each culture.
I'm a US citizen, I identify with American culture, but we're Sindhi, so I prefer North Indian.
So, yeah, now Sima auntie does the thing where she takes down the criteria. And if she has to write anything more than 2 things, she will snap and lose it. But here is the criteria for Aparna.
Many want they should be social or sense of humor. They want a good sense of humor in their partner.
People care about sense of humor.
They don't? Oh, shit. That's all I have. I guess she doesn't want a guy who makes her laugh. That's annoying. Comedian? More like a piece of shit.
Brother, this guy stinks!
They want they're lively, jolly.
No.
So they want the other partner to accept their jokes.
She's like, they're lively, jolly. No. I need a dead corpse looking. Like, have you ever seen Evil Dead? I want someone like that. Doesn't eat much, doesn't talk, just growls every now and again. Is there. Living, but barely. You know, that's my criteria.
My friend set me up with someone, and nice guy, but you know, when I told him I wanted to go to Bolivia during the wet season to see the flamingos in that red lake, he looked at me blankly. He didn't know Bolivia had salt flats.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Okay, so apparently they need to know about Bolivia having salt flats. Do you see what I mean by, like, I get that she's really about what she wants, and I appreciate that, but sometimes it's like a bit too much. I don't know anything about Bolivia. Would we not have a good time now? Oh, they put that in, actually. Wow. Should know Bolivia has salt flats. I guess we all know something. If you didn't know that, now you know. And if you didn't know that, you had a chance with her. What are you doing here?
I also appreciate people that have passions outside of work. Being a father is like a very active thing that they do. I don't date lawyers. Because they can't both be, you know, wanting the same things.
Okay, active father, not a lawyer, and they shouldn't want the same thing. So basically, if you know everything about Bolivia, they shouldn't want to even know what the fuck that is. But if they don't know what that is, then they're not going to work. So she's basically a paradox. Got it.
So I'm not that picky.
She wants open-minded. She wants this. Many of these things are not very important for a happy married life.
There it is. This is the first instance. She gets more angry as time goes on, but this is the first time where she's like, most of that shit not really even necessary. All you need to do is have guy breathing and who make money. Okay? Basically, you want a happy life, happy wife? Breathing. Money. Wakes up on time. Active father, maybe fat father, but some active. Activity father.
If a guy wants to dress the way he dresses, that's negotiable later. We can talk about that. I am obviously very particular about what I wear.
I mean, that's okay. I guess it's a girl thing, huh? For me, that's like an insult. Treat me like you would a girl. Like if a guy were to say to a girl, I get to choose what you wear, likely everyone would be like, what the F? So for me, I feel the exact same. If a girl's like, you need to wear this, I'll be like, you need to wear the door out of here because I do not like to be told what to wear. Clearly, I like pink and amazingly shiny shit. It's just who I am. Elton John is my stunt double, so what?
But adjustment also is there, a part of a happy married life. We cannot be greedy. I want this, so it cannot be a tailor-made.
But Sima, auntie, actually, That is exactly what we are looking for. Because anything else would be settling. And arranged marriage oftentimes is settled. How do I know that? I haven't been arranged marriage. I'm probably going to have to if I ever settle down the way I'm going. But my grandparents are. And I will tell you, it's not a love marriage. And I respect and I love them, but I don't know if they do. That means, they had a long marriage, but a happy marriage and a happy love life ideally should be the same thing. But in Sima Auntie's mind, those are two different things. She's like, you want love? Okay, go Love Island. You want marriage? Get arranged. Arrange that.
You have to adjust and little compromise.
There's nothing about me that
And I don't I don't not agree with her. I think compromising is very important in marriage, but your values and who you look for as a person shouldn't make you compromise things. You should be able to be yourself wholly to the other person in order for that shit to be holy. You know what I mean? That's holy matrimony if it's the right one. But if you're just settling down for a person who's like, yeah, you're good enough and you don't annoy me. And it's like, yeah, there's a lot of people like that. Lots of people are compatible. But the one? That's tough. Aparna, though, thinks she's perfect, just by the way, so I don't agree with that.
Nothing about me that I think I need to change or evolve or grow into to be a better partner for someone else.
Can you imagine if Bulbasaur from Pokemon said that? Then he wouldn't be Bulbasaur-ass. Everyone needs to evolve. No matter how good you think you are, there's always more shit to evolve into. I learned that from Pokemon, and most of my life lessons come from that show. So, I'm right.
There's a lot of things that this person is not going to like about me that I'm going to have to say, sorry, this part of me is actually done.
Wow, I both get that and find that very appalling at the same time. You're 34, you have room to grow. Everyone at any age has room to grow. She did say compromising, and I understand what she's saying. There's certain parts of her that'll be hard to change, or in her mind, impossible. But you haven't even met this guy yet, and you're already like, this is me. This is who I am. It's already presenting this weirdly defensive stance. That shouldn't be the first thing on your mind. If he doesn't like who I am, he can go F himself. It's you're not even on the first date. You don't even know the guy. He doesn't even exist, possibly. Wait till you start doing the abrasive stuff.
So you're fond of cooking?
No, I actually don't cook a lot or ever.
So Sima is, asks her, do you cook? And she says, no, not ever. And Sima just hits her with a then. And in Indian culture, then this basically means then what are you even doing? Then what? You can't cook. Then? Pretty much. And I gotta say, man, 34 years old, you should know how to cook. And I'm not saying that as a girl, I'm saying that as a human being. If you are fending for yourself in some sort of sense or way, it's good to learn how to cook. It's a life skill. You don't have to be Gordon Ramsay or woman Gordon Ramsayette or whatever the hell, Rachel Ray. But it's nice to learn how to cook in case your man somehow falls sick, falls into a well, falls into another woman's lap. Learn how to cook.
My God. Aparna is the hardest type of candidate to match because she thinks finding a life partner is like ordering from a menu.
Yeah, so basically Sima Auntie roasts her for having criteria. Like I said, I can see both sides. I can see why Aparna is specific. I think it's good to be specific. I agree with her on that sense. But I also think Sima Auntie is right in the fact that this woman needs to have something to offer. Because if you want some really high, perfect person who offers you everything, you have to ask yourself in a relationship before you ask things, what can I offer them? Someone told me that. They were like, listen, instead of saying oh, this is what I want, firstly, think about what can I give? And if you can give all this stuff, you can expect it back. So I like giving head.
My name is Nadia Jagasar. I live in New Jersey with my family.
So then we move to New Jersey and we meet contestant number 2, Nadia.
Definitely not shy. Part of me just wants to sign a marriage license and throw a big party at the beach and call it a day.
Bruh, that's a mood and a half. Also, marriage licenses, I didn't know were a thing. This is how bad I am at marriage. I didn't know you had to have people sign it to witness it. So basically, if you don't have any friends, it didn't happen. You can get married to the girl all you want. If nobody saw it, it didn't happen, bro. You're f***ing single. Get your dad to sign it. I don't know. That's so unsexy. Do you take this woman? I do. Well then sign this, sir. Damn.
I think it might be a little intimidating sometimes to guys that like I'm tall and that I'm confident and I have my own business and do Bollywood dancing.
It's really sad to hear that though, I will say. Like if the idea is because someone is confident and tall and extroverted or outgoing or something, or like pretty forthcoming with ideas and themes and ideology, it shouldn't be viewed in a bad way. But in brown culture especially, ideally, and in a lot of ways, it's still so far back in the way that certain people are thinking. It's seen as a threat to have a woman who's progressive and stuff. I mean, it's such a foreign concept to so many people in the Western world because that's what you want. You want people to be progressive, not just women. You want everyone to be like, yeah, I think this way. I'm a forward-thinking person. I am independent. I have my own values. But sometimes it's seen as a threat. And I guess she's tall too, so now she could just like Hulk smash you whenever she wants. And not in the good way. Indian guys, average height, 5'5". She's 5'9". She's gonna kill some guys.
But I fill my time so that I don't sit and realize how single I am.
What are your preferences? Like what type of...
Aparna is 34. I think Nadia is 30. And I feel like once you hit the big 3-0, it feels like there's a time limit going and you feel like, oh man, a lot of my friends are married. I also have come to learn that we're in a different day and age, and 30 is the new 20. I feel like people have enough time. We're all working on our own scale and methods here. We're all doing our own thing. And you shouldn't feel rushed, especially towards that stage. It's probably a big trap at this point that people start feeling rushed and maybe want to settle. There's nothing wrong with being 30 and single, although I hope I'm not.
What type of life partner you'd like?
Hopefully who's tall. So I think passionate.
No matter what culture, country, tribe, place you're from, if you're 5'5" and a guy, you gonna die. Because to a girl, you're not that high. That's a little rhyme I made, so in case you ever, wonder why it is you're not getting the chicks, it's because you're too short, Danny. You're 5'5", and unless your last name's DeVito, you can't get these bitches. I'm sorry. I'm with you. I'm on the shorter. I'm not 6 foot. Every time I always look up at girls because they look down on me, even though they're shorter. I don't get it. 6 foot or nothing.
Ambitious.
Open-minded.
Smart, funny, open-minded. Traveling.
Okay, so Nadia's criteria is basically like, decent human.
Just like someone who's a good person. I guess one of my concerns is...
Okay, well, I gotta give it to her, Nadia. For once, Sima Auntie isn't complaining about your unbelievably high criteria. So, hey, all hats off to you.
My family's from Guyana. Our ancestry is from India, but people don't see it that way. They see, oh, you're from Guyana, so you're South American.
So I want to piggyback off of that. The thing that she mentioned, being from Guyana and then South American, what she's going to allude to is that she doesn't feel she's accepted as someone who's fully Indian. And this is crazy because I'm from South Africa. My heritage is somewhere around there. I don't really know. It's the same thing. I'm not really accepted into that at times. There are certain people who view me as different. It makes you feel like you're almost from nowhere because you don't even know what your heritage is. And it's pretty sad and isolating. Makes you feel like an outcast within your own society just because of the way you grew up and how your forefathers were, which is crazy. We'll talk about caste and stuff a bit later, but that's a very important thing.
Although we have the Indian heritage, we have found that we're not necessarily accepted as Indians.
Right. That's pretty much exactly the same thing for South Africa. You are not exactly accepted there, and then when we're in our own country, not really accepted there either. It's pretty bad at times.
You're not exactly Indian, so we're not interested.
This is why you always look for a Jamaican person, because they're so chill.
Big up the whole island, massive, it's your boy Chatana.
But yeah, ideally, my perfect girl looks like Bob Marley with less dreads. Otherwise, that would be dreadful. I have a crash. Crash is looking... I always have an audience member, so good joke.
I'll be giving you some proposals.
Yeah.
So I've selected 3 very good biodatas which is going to match you.
She could just say people. She could look at her and say, I've got 3 matches, 3 people who look very good to me. But she wanted to make it sound smart. She wants to make it sound like she's doing all this crazy work. I ran the analytics through my brainification app, and then I rematched the data. I put the Gujaratus in the Punjabas, and then I took it out, and this is what came out. The biodata suggests that you are Indian. It just sounds like she's making shit up.
That picture is the main backbone of the biodata. He's a CFO of many top gyms. Their name is there, date of birth is there.
She's explaining this like it's some sort of crazy shit that only she came up with. This is what the biodata says. You got the picture of them, which is important. Some people don't even have that. And then you got name and date of birth. Honestly, nobody's done this before. This bitch literally came out after Tinder, is trying to claim that she did it better than them.
Good height.
Yeah. I feel like Vinay has a really nice face. So
Hold on. Am I looking at a piece of paper that she printed out? Is she this old that she's literally like, hold on, let me get the biodatas? Fax it. Okay. Really? Piece of paper. You don't have an app or anything else. You literally had to go old school with this. Very good. She strikes me as the type of person to draw Google Maps onto a book and then use that to actually navigate. But yes, Sima auntie matches Nadia with a guy called Vinay.
They're nice.
And he looks good and she likes him, and man, that's a match right there. She only gives people a chance to date one person at a time, even though she has 3 biodatas. If the first one doesn't work, she'll move on to the next one.
Everything we come to know by the biodata. Like the hobbies of the girl or the boy.
wait, he does comedy?
It's not like online dating.
Yeah, of course. I mean, online dating is so different because they have things like a picture, a bio, and some data. So I guess you'd call that biodata. But over here you have paper, so they can't go back on the things they said. Okay. Imagine if she wanted to see more pictures. She's like, oh yeah, Rajneesh, can I see another picture of Rajneesh? And then Sima auntie's like, I'll draw it. Okay, he's got a head and curly hair. This is it. It's not like online dating. Okay, please.
I personally ensure that the photograph and information is accurate, so no one is surprised. It's my goodwill and my clients trust me.
So that's how she's different from online dating, because she's like, there's no catfishes. And granted, yes, in the early days, I'm sure there were catfishes, but yeah, I'm pretty sure most apps have verification now. And if they don't trust them, okay?
To sing.
Okay.
He's a Guyanese. Very good height, very nice, good at heart.
Where does he live, in New York?
How the hell do you know that shit? He's good at heart. What kind of profile is this? He's a very good height, but also his heart is in the right place. He says that on the profile, heart in right place. If it was on the wrong place, he'd be dead.
I suggest that they pick one at a time so they are not confused. When they get too many people, they cannot decide whether to tell yes or no.
I mean, honestly, if we were to make an app, don't steal this idea, that's probably the only thing where she differs from things. And I think that's a pretty decent thing. Imagine if you were on Tinder or some other shit and you swiped right, but you could only talk to one person at a time. That's probably a cool system. Again, stop stealing the idea. I'm just saying, Sima auntie did one thing that I agree with.
I'm drawn to Guru because he's half Guyanese, so I feel like we understand each other a little bit better.
All right, so Nadia is drawn to Guru because their backgrounds align and they might and hopefully will go on their first date. Now we head back to Aparna, who is accompanied by some music that goes, I don't care what you say, I don't care how you feel.
I don't care how you feel.
Pretty much signifying she is the wild child of the bunch.
But I feel she's a little stubborn. I'm giving Aparna only one match. The more options I give, she's picky and she would not decide.
So because she thinks Aparna is stubborn, she doesn't even give her the illusion of choice. She's just like, you get one match if you don't like him. Honestly, you can just F off. I've never seen that before. Imagine if Tinder is like, do you like this one? And you're like, no. And then it just like, well, it closes. The app just closes.
Podcast host.
Author of 3 books. He's 6'2".
That's nice.
So they show this one dude to Aparna, and she fixates on the fact that he's a podcast host and author, because in her mind she's like, that's not a real job. A real job is something like a doctor or something tangible, like a banana salesman. That's better than a podcast host. But he is 6'2", and that's a big winner. So she says, okay.
He's very active. He seems to like the outdoors.
Yes.
I do not like the outdoors.
I know. This is boding well.
Well, and actually, bitch, it is probably boding really well for her, because in her criteria, I specifically remember her saying at the end that their wants should be different. Because if they have the same wants, it's not going to work. So him liking the outdoors and her hating it should be fantastic for her.
Very nice person who understands sense of humor.
Oh.
You know how I hate comedy.
What? I thought you said he doesn't have to be the funniest guy in the room. I didn't know you detest the fact that anybody making jokes or making other people happy makes you miserable. I didn't know you were Satan offspawn. And I didn't know that. You know how I hate that comedy? Every time he makes people laugh and they go, ha ha, I'm like, ugh, what is that? Ha ha. What are you, trying to say things? Ha ha. She's a heckler at a comedy club. She doesn't even go to a comedy club. I bet you she thinks Dave Chappelle is the worst person who ever existed.
Gotcha, bitch!
So you have to kind of trust in the person.
Let them meet, even you all can meet once.
Okay.
After meeting, she'll come to know whether to proceed or not.
Alright, so Sima auntie tries to convince Aparna that this one person might be the one. And they all say okay. Sima even says that she'll get him to meet the family, which is not even remotely common on the first date. I don't think I've ever had anyone do that and survive it. I would say that's one of the worst moves Sima could do, but I guess the guys are just getting put through the ringer. I will say this though, Aparna, for someone who is very, very specific and picky, cares almost 0% about how the person looks. Like, she just thinks everyone's like, yeah, he looks good. He's great. And I don't know why I find that kind of endearing, that she never once even is like, ooh, he looks weird. That's like never crossed her mind. It's always the stuff that they do that annoys her.
I think it'll be great to meet in person.
But that ends episode 1. So we have Aparna, who's meeting the podcast guy, and Nadia, who's meeting a guy called Guru. And now we move on to episode 2.
So I saw your parents are from Guyana.
Yes, they
That's
are.
so cool. That's so cool.
Episode 2 starts off with Guru and Nadia meeting and going on their first date. And hopefully it goes really well.
Everyone thinks I'm Indian.
Yeah.
Where in India are you from?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I'm not. But they're like, oh, but you look Indian.
Yeah.
Is this a soundboard? What the hell, Guru? Yeah. I'm not Indian. Yeah. Are you Little John? What is happening there? Yeah, but people think I'm Indian. Yeah. Yeah. What's up? What's up, G? What? Yeah. I didn't know he was creating an ad-lib back there.
Can I have a mimosa, please?
Could I have orange juice? I saw that she ordered a mimosa. It's not a big deal. Want to have a little fun? Sure, why not?
It's a first date, bro. A mimosa is not the worst thing to have. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's not your thing that you like people drinking, but if that's the case, you would hate me.
But I don't drink.
Do you eat meat?
I'm trying to cut back a little more.
Like bacon mac and cheese sounds amazing.
He's also not someone who eats a lot of meat and doesn't drink. In other words, he's already sort of judging Nadia, and I don't know why, because she just got there. Mimosa is not the worst thing to have on a first date. Come on, man.
After I met him, I felt like he just didn't open up enough.
This match may not fit all her criteria, but matches are made in heaven.
Yeah, so the date sort of fizzles out very fast. Once they realize that they're probably not suited for each other, Guru doesn't open up enough, and I guess he's secretly, or honestly just a little bit kind of judging Nadia, and it's nothing wrong because people have their own preferences. It doesn't mean he's a bad person for being like, this is what I want or this is what I don't want. And it's not a bad thing on Nadia's part for being like, I don't think the chemistry was there. That is just a first date sometimes. It doesn't work out. Nothing wrong with that. But to Sima, auntie, matches are made in heaven. That's why we have arranged marriages. Thanks, Sima auntie. That makes complete sense.
And God has given me the job to make it successful on earth.
Well, then God sucks.
What did I do?
And I'm sorry for being blasphemous, but if God gave you this job, then God damn it, he failed. Why? Out of all the people in India, 1 billion people, he said, Sima auntie, apparently he's Indian too, find me matches. Find me the matches and make all the people get married. So far, your show has had 0 marriages. So...
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my God, what are you doing? The way he's hugging her is how you'd pet a dog when it comes to say hello to you after a long day. Have you ever hugged a woman before? What the Bye! I'll see you later, lassie.
Bye. Have a good one.
You too.
Take care.
See ya.
When I first found out,
So yeah, I guess that Nadia and Guru did not work out, and for good reason. I cannot afford to look at another back rub hug like that. But we move on to Aparna and this guy who kind of looks like a Muppet.
Am I a man or am I a Muppet? Am I a Muppet?
I was gonna meet the family. I kind of had a momentary freak out and meltdown. I was like, this is really weird.
He's very handsome.
Well, props to the man, by the way, for coming into this and realizing at the last minute he was going to meet a whole family before even meeting this girl or having a conversation and being pretty cool under pressure. So, Srini, good. Aparna also thinks he's very handsome, and I find that very cute for some reason. Not that he's not, I just find that she thinks every guy, she's like, yeah, he's a handsome dude. I like it.
He's very confident. I appreciated that about him. To make it as comfortable as possible for everyone in the room. I really like that.
So Aparna is sort of actually giving him the props that he absolutely deserves. She's like, yo, man, this guy is lit. He's tight. He like my family. He's making it all right.
Me, I'm tight.
And she recognizes the fact that he's put under a situation that's probably a bit weird.
So usually the mother, she helps you. But I think some negative vibes were coming from her.
I wanted to let you know I'm planning on jumping out of a plane tomorrow, but I thought I'd give you a heads up. She's like,
the mom's just like, ugh, he jumps out of planes? What kind of crazy, what are you, Tom Cruise? Get back in the plane. The only thing planes are meant for is transportation, mister. Okay? Back in my day, Indians didn't jump out of planes. They went on boats, and not by choice. Okay? Probably should have kept that one to myself.
Oh my God. Sima, I know that she's an experienced matchmaker, and I hope that she's read it right.
Just in the mom's head, she's like imagining this guy jumping out of a plane with her daughter every day to get to work or something. It's in the mom's nature to be worrisome. It's endearing in itself. And sometimes, parents are overprotective, especially towards their children. It's cute.
I chose Vinay for Nadia.
But yeah, so Aparna and, damn, I keep forgetting his name, Podcast Man, are sort of hitting it off, even though the mom's like, not sure about this. But they end up going on a date. But we'll join them later. Now we go back to Nadia, who meets with another guy, Vinay, the second choice in the biodatas.
What do you like to eat? Or what's your favorite type of food?
I converted it to veganism.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like bacon mac and cheese sounds amazing.
That doesn't answer the question at all that she asked. What type of food do you like? I'm a vegan. Hey, look, this already seems to be going better for Nadia because Vinay seems more receptive. He's happy. He's got the biggest smile known to man, clearly. This might be going well.
I used to be, as a kid, the pickiest eater in the world.
Really?
There's still certain things that I hate. I can't stand ketchup still.
Break up with him. Break up with him. If you don't, I will. Break up with him. What, he doesn't like ketchup? Bitch, ketchup to me. What? You don't like ketchup? What are you, mustard? Get out of here.
Oh my God, I don't like ketchup either.
Are you kidding?
What? Oh, break up with her. Break up with her. Jesus Christ, she doesn't like ketchup, dude. Break up with her. What is she? She's probably a psychopath. Oh my God. You guys are both psychopaths. Break up with each other.
All of the things that I thought we would connect on, we 100% connected on, and then there were so many other things that we have in common.
So the Wi-Fi's there. They had a good connection. Apparently, they have hit it off, okay? The guy is even like, yo, I got this. And she said we could split it. And he's like, not as much as I want to split you tonight, like a coconut. He didn't say that, but if he did, that would be smooth.
I got this.
No, we can split it.
No. It's first date. Let me get this.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Of course.
The only thing better, Vinay, is if you said you can get the one on the second date. And you can learn all about that in my Riz course. Leo rizzes up these hoes.
Treat me like white teeth.
It's a 10-part series. It cost $10.99. And so far, my uncle has joined and also dropped out.
Would you mind giving me your number?
Yeah.
But the date goes extremely well. And Nadia and Vinay hit it off to the point that she gives him his number. Awesome. Let's go back to Aparna and podcast, man. I'm so sorry that I don't remember his name.
I'm gonna sit at a dinner table with somebody I've never met.
A little nervous here.
Yeah!
Well, that's how business meetings happen, sir. You made it sound like it was... I'm not gonna sit at a table with someone I don't know. Jesus Christ. That's like sitting in an airplane with someone I don't know. Ha! I fly next to people I know all the time. I don't go to movies and sit next to people I don't know. The person on both sides of the seats are my mom and dad. I sit in the middle like I used to when I was 5. Now I'm 45 doing the same shit.
If you're terrible at something and you own it, it doesn't matter because to me, that's confidence.
Very supportive of the fact that I maybe didn't like that I wasn't good at something.
So, Aparna and this guy, Srini, they do axe throwing. She's not good at it, he's good at it, but they both seem to connect very well because she recognizes the fact that he's supportive even though she's not good at it, and he recognizes the fact that she keeps trying even though she's not good at it. And both of them seem like a pretty good match, honestly. Like, this is going way better than I thought it would.
And he recognized that off the bat, and he treated the whole thing really casually.
Oh! She ends up getting almost a bullseye with a one-handed axe throw. I don't know what else to say, but that's some props right there.
No freaking way. That did not just happen. I feel like...
They then do the most awkward handshake I think I've ever seen. I wanted to cringe die.
No freaking way. That did not...
It turned from a handshake into a handhold into a, do I let go or will she think that I'm being really, really unneedy?
I just went out so strong. I have to sit down right now.
It just was...
What do you actually do?
So I write books.
So then they sit down and they talk, which is the thing that Srini didn't want to do because he doesn't go to dinner with people he doesn't know. But they're talking and having drinks, and she asks him what he does. But she asks it in the Aparna way, which is, what do you actually do? What a podcast? What part are you casting?
I host this podcast and I do a lot of keynote speeches.
And you've become an expert on this to the point where people are like, let's hear what he has to say.
Oh, God. Okay. This is not good. For all of the goodness that Aparna has shown, all of the willingness to go out of her comfort zone and actually recognize the good that this guy has, her, I guess, intrusive thoughts and her personality are beating her back into her box. And by that, I mean she's judging him on what he's doing, his income, and his career choice.
I didn't really start making enough money to even live outside of my parents' house until a couple of years ago.
Because he just said he didn't have enough money to not be with his parents until recently, and I can see her eyes going from, oh, he's pretty cool, to, oh, this fool.
And I'm not kind of making any commitments to it. I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to just kind of see where not having a plan leads me.
And that was that. That's it. That's all he needed to say for Aparna to check out of there. Because she wants a man with a plan. And he just literally said, I'm going to see where not having a plan takes me. He was playing it so well, I gotta say. He was playing it well until he said, I didn't have a plan. Now he's done for.
20 years, do I want to be sitting on the couch with a person looking for the perfect job?
Well, we could go eat something.
Yeah.
He then says we could go eat something because he finally knows her, so he can go out, and she says, yeah, okay. And I don't know if they actually go out to dinner, but the point is she checked out because he said he didn't have a plan, and to her, that did not align. I want to really hopefully say that, like, on a first date, you can offer the communication if you like someone enough to be like, I don't know if I like this, and maybe if you rephrase it, we'll go on a second date. But she didn't see him as important enough, and I don't think he comes back. Aparna is very, very strict with what she wants in a partner. So sorry, Srini. Man, you gotta have a plan.
He wasn't very ambitious about his own career path or his own trajectory. I don't have time in my life to invest in people that are not on the same page as me.
Yeah, so unfortunately, Srini's not a lawyer or has the exact same goals or knows anything about Bolivia. He might as well be gone, which he is.
Srini the loser.
Wow, the mom even under her breath for no reason at all calls him Srini the loser, which is totally uncalled for. Mom, stop.
Do more proposals, so I'll send you. But what I found that she's not stable. Like her mind is not stable. That I found that.
It seems like if anybody rejects Sima Auntie's proposal, she goes on the offensive. And at the thought of Aparna not matching with Srini, she's like, mentally, this woman, oh my God, she's not stable. Okay. She's not stable with S, stable. She's not it.
I definitely don't think that Sima understands what I want. I just assumed it was someone who would get it. She's a matchmaker, that's her job. You get it, love is love, right? Any language. False.
Okay, I mean, what did you expect? She's handing you paper resumes of people that you found on the street through word of mouth. Did you really expect Cupid to be in the form of an auntie who has values from the age-old 1800s? You're a forward-thinking woman who wants a forward-thinking man in a society, in Western culture, and you got the most Eastern cultured woman to try. What did you think was going to happen, Aparna? I don't know who to blame right now. All I know is that Sima Auntie just called you mentally unstable, and that's, wow, those are fighting words.
I need you to find me a husband. Just find me someone.
So Sima Auntie is like, damn, what the hell do I do now? People are on the rocks in this relationship. Who do I go to when I need help? And she finds an astrologer / face reader. This dude reads people's faces. He looks at your face and he's like, you're a bitch. You got RBF, resting bitch face.
To help me, I'm showing their pictures to a face reader in India. We'll see the destiny the astrologer has predicted. Ye Pandit ji Aparna.
I'm so surprised she didn't pull out a piece of paper of Aparna and then show it to him. I'm very surprised. I'm actually pleasantly surprised Sima Auntie has pictures on her phone and doesn't think it's just a mobile telephone that you take and put numbers into.
और मुंह जो है बृहस्पति गुरु का है और ये बिल्कुल जिद्दी हट्टी है. पति इसका चरणदास आज्ञाकारी. पति को 2 लाफा मारे तो ही बर्दाश्त करेगा.
Wow, so just by looking at her face, he says she reminds him of Jupiter. I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult, if you can look at a girl and be like, your face looks like Jupiter. And my face looks like Saturn, because I hope you sat on my face. I could be a face reader in India. Anyway, he says that she's really stubborn and that her husband will be subservient. If he watched even 5 minutes of the show, he would know the same thing. But hey, if you can tell that from a face, good for you.
Nadia and Vinay. आप बताओ उनकी जोड़ी आगे कैसी रहेगी? खुश रहेंगे क्या? आगे बढ़ना चाहिए क्या?
का योग.
I will say though that Sima Auntie's tactics of going to face readers, astrologers, palm readers is quite a good insight into the culture of India and dating culture and how much they rely on factors of things that are out of their control to determine their fate. And everyone has different thoughts on this, but sometimes it's worth asking someone, or sometimes you just need that vote of confidence. There are a billion people in India. I'm sure dating gets tough. You think that there's more choices. Sometimes it would feel like, imagine if you're in a place and you're like, there's a billion of me and I can't find the one. I understand. So it gives a good insight, just a window into sort of how dating works in that country. Anyway, she then also asks about Vinay and Nadia. And apparently, this guy says their paths will align.
और इसके भाग्य में जुड़वा संतान का योग है.
Fingers crossed. I hope it happens that way.
Okay, so he says that Nadia is gonna have twins, but doesn't say if it's with Vinay or not. So basically, this man avoided everything she asked. Good for you, dude. I don't know how you keep doing it. And that is the end of episode 2. Episode 3.
Vinay and I have gone out probably about six or 7 times.
So things are going amazingly between Nadia and Vinay. Apparently 6 or 7 dates worthy. And by the 7th date, if you haven't closed past first base, then you should be playing a different sport. But apparently these two are doing well.
The night before, he confirmed like, hey, we're still going to a movie this time, this place tomorrow, right? And I was like, yeah, I'll be there.
There is an issue, however. Vinay apparently flaked.
What? What the fuck?
They were supposed to go out to see a movie, and the night before he was like, yo, what time? But when she messaged him, nothing. Radio silence.
How's life?
Like late. Didn't show show up, didn't answer the phone.
100% she didn't know what the hell flaked was and just rolled with it. Yeah, okay. So he made chocolate on you? Pooping? Yeah, I understand it. I'm hip with the kids, hippotus hoppatus.
That's kind of left a really sour taste in my mouth.
He was the one who was like, hey, I'm coming, and then he didn't show up.
It's actually worth noting, and I don't know why I cut this out now, but Sima auntie, when they were going through the biodatas, apparently Vinay was one of Nadia's first choices. And she looked at Nadia and she said, he's too young, he's just playing around, he's not really worth it. And she chose not to listen to that, but now Sima auntie is going to probably gloat about it. However, let's not count Vinay out, because he apparently has a good reason for such.
I ended up getting heat exhaustion from that. I got actually IVs in my veins. So this morning, I texted her.
So apparently he got IVs in his veins and stuff. And he was so dehydrated that he couldn't actually text her to tell her that. He did say it was poor communication and he sincerely apologizes. And he sends her a basket of cookies, all saying sorry. And it seems like, he's really actually taking responsibility for his actions, which are shitty, to say the least. But, I mean, if he had heat stroke and all that crap, maybe it's real.
I got a bouquet of flowers, a box of chocolates, a box of cookies. I appreciate that.
So it looks like Vinay's out of the doghouse because he said he's sorry, and maybe it was a genuine thing. Probably should have communicated that one better, but yeah, Vinay did not. Although he did apologize and take responsibility, and that is a big part of it. But now we move back to Aparna, who is trying to find herself a new match. And Sima, last time we spoke, called her pretty much mentally not able to do certain things. She was having a go at Aparna.
It's difficult for Aparna. She was not comfortable with the family and they were a little egoistic. She should change her talking pattern also. I didn't like it.
Oh shit, she just hates this one. Yeah, she's mentally unstable. Also, her talking suck. She should change fully. Aparna, fully change. Change her name even, maybe. Who knows?
I went on a date and it was miserable. And I'm still mad about it. You got all dolled up and you had all these expectations.
Oh, there's your problem, Aparna. You had expectations on the first date. That's wrong. Don't have expectations. It's really tough to have expectations, especially on a first date. It's different to have preferences and know what you will and won't stand for. But to expect someone to act a certain way is probably not going to work when you don't know the person. What you should do is achieve things with an open mind and say, these are my preferences and these are my boundaries. And at the end of the date, you can weigh those up, say, is it worth having another date? Is it not? Good. But to have expectations when going out when you don't know the person is almost always going to end in this negative spiral. And Aparna's been doing that without knowing that.
That maybe they'll work and then that's dash.
But she goes on a new date now, this time with a guy called Dilip. Sima auntie didn't even show us the biodata. For some reason, she's just like throwing probably the worst biodatas at Aparna. And she's just like, okay, next.
Aparna?
Yes, hi, how are you?
So nice to meet you.
Do you like how he walked in? He walked in like he wanted to leave. He was like, Aparna? Hi? Oh, how are you? Just... Okay, let's do this.
When I saw his resume on paper, I said, the only thing this would come down to was chemistry. That's it. Otherwise, viability, he's perfect.
So again, against all odds, Aparna looks at him and is like, he looks like James Bond mixed with Chris Hemsworth. He's him Bond. And I think the only thing that will ever set this relationship on fire is if the chemistry's not there. So she tests it out.
Between Panama and a few weeks after that. And then I really want to go to Pakistan. It's a huge commitment.
It's like so
I didn't think that number was as large.
She ends up talking way too much, just by the way. Now, Aparna is she's the one who takes the lead. And for many guys, that seems to be fine. But for certain people, it'll probably be like, hey, I'd like to talk too. Maybe we can do a 50-50 perhaps. But she just unloads and tells him everything before even asking him something.
What about you? Where to next?
I'd like to go to Norway.
Wasn't there only like 5 hours of sunlight a day?
Did you do the islands?
No, I hate beaches.
What?
So then this guy messes up because he says something about an island, and an island has a beach on it. And this beach does not like beaches because she turns into a beach when talking about beaches. You should know that, and if you didn't, then you're probably just a normal guy. But when you're dating Aparna, you can't be a normal guy. You have to be the Lord himself.
Yeah, I hate beaches.
Hate beaches. The sand gets everywhere, or the ocean is scary?
I love the ocean. I lived on the ocean for 100 days in a boat.
Okay.
Obviously, I love the ocean.
Obviously. Doesn't everybody know she lived on a boat for 100 days? She's the inspiration for One Piece. She wants to be the pirate of all pirates. We should know she lived on a boat for 100 days. That's common knowledge, bitch. What's not common knowledge is why she hates the damn beaches. It's not because of the ocean, it's because of the sand. Everybody hates sand.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
Not ever make me lay on a beach for more than like 3 hours, maybe
So what
2.
would be like a relaxing 10 days for you?
So then this guy makes the mistake of asking what a relaxing 2 weeks looks like for her. He says 10 days, and for some reason she gets caught up on the fact that he said 10 days because in her head, nobody should even need more than a few days to relax because the word relax apparently to her signifies at most 3 days. If this is, ringing some alarm bells or you're thinking, what the actual Leo? What is that? This is Aparna.
Don't catch you slipping now.
And somehow this makes sense to her.
Yeah, for 3 days. Like, why would you relax for 10 days? That's weird.
I don't know.
What's happening in your life that you can't relax in your real life? Like,
Called a coma. And honestly, I'd rather be in one than go on this date. So I've never seen someone sweat another person over something as arbitrary as, would you relax for 10 days or am I 7 days too much? Okay, in this hypothetical world, I'm sorry that I made you feel weird. If you can't even have a conversation, why? Why? What is the point?
I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Feel relaxed now that this is all over.
Then this dude goes and he has the interview and he's like, yo, I am more relaxed than ever now that she's gone, which doesn't bode well for her. And with that, Dilip is out of the picture. He is like, this is not for me, sonny boy. And he leaves. So Aparna 0 for 2 seems like her striking personality is actually kind of jarring in many ways. That was not a fun date to watch, I gotta say. Feel sorry for little Dilip right there. I've never seen anyone get harassed over a question like how much would you like to relax before. But there's a first for everything. Meanwhile, back in Nadia's place, after Nadia and Vinay make up, she now wants him to meet the friends, and he is ready and on his way, finally.
Vinay and I have gotten more serious. My friends are looking forward to meeting him. On his way!
Oh my God! Well, it's girl time with Nadia and finally Vinay, who is serious, is meeting them. It's always a tough moment when the guy has to meet the friends of the girl that he's smanging, which is smashing and banging. I find it nerve-wracking personally, and I personally think the company you keep says a lot about you. In fact, as I've grown older, I think it's a testament to who you are as a character, and the company you keep really matters. So that's all to say. Nadia has some friends. Hopefully they like Vinay.
Where is this guy?
So it turns out they're talking, they're waiting for him. He says he's on his way. Then she asks, where is this guy? And kind of a slimy thing happens. Let the thing...
Quite annoyed. Wow. Some lame-ass excuse that he's not coming.
No!
I mean, I don't know. He just said, hey, I'm arguing with my sister. I don't think I can make it. And nah, that's just nah. If you make plans and you make it a day before and it's about meeting your friends and it's a really important event, even if you're arguing with your sister, you'd be like, yo, I'm going to go meet the girl who I'm probably going to spend the rest of my life with, or at least try and have a serious relationship with. This is not okay in any way, shape, or form, Vinay.
I just got really upset. Like, I am lonely and I just feel like I'm not doing anything.
Crying aside, which is unintentionally hilarious when people cry talk.
I feel like I'm not doing anything.
The fact that she said she was lonely and she didn't feel like she was doing anything. Oh gosh, I'm sure that hits home for a lot of people. I can relate to that. Sometimes you feel like, damn, you're trying your absolute hardest, and all you want to do is be loved and accepted and cared for who you are. And in this case, especially this case, it's not even like it's Nadia's fault because she did nothing wrong. She just straight up was doing well. By all accounts, this dude introduced her to his friends. They went on 6 or 7 dates. When the first time he didn't communicate properly, he sent an apology. He seemed serious. I don't know what went wrong. I don't know what behind the scenes things happened. I'm not sure. We never hear from him again. Just from what is shown as really dick-like behavior. And yeah, I feel real sorry. His very vulnerable moment, she said she was lonely, and you can only hope from there she bounces back. But we'll check in with her later. Right now, we're back to Aparna, my favorite girl.
Hey, Aparna?
Yes,
Hey,
hi.
I'm Shaker. Nice to meet you.
Now she meets a guy called Shekhar, but he calls himself Shaker. I like when Indian people don't even pronounce their own name right. I'm Shaker.
Shake me up, daddy.
He has his own law firm. He's kind, he's smart, he's successful. He won't be afraid of her.
So you're from...
So finally, Sima auntie is like, yo, the last 2 people that I set you up with ate you up. Now I'm going to get you a guy who owns his own law firm and is so positive you can't possibly bring him down. And they have a date. 2 lawyers in a room. That sounds like a joke. It is.
I was born in London, and
Oh,
then
that's
I grew
right.
up in Dubai for a short bit. Yeah,
I've always wanted to go to Dubai.
strange place to want to go.
Weird for you to say that since you lived there and were growing up there. Is it weird to go to possibly the most modern place in the world? It's kind of weird that you think it's strange, actually. If he said he'd like to go to a place like American Samoa because he really wants to see what the new technology is like, then you could be like, that's strange. No offense to American Samoa, but the point is, it's weird that you think him going to Dubai or wanting to is strange.
It seems like so developed and so like kind of futuristic, if you will. It's like the
I mean,
skyline
if you like
seems
Disney,
amazing.
it's kind of like Disney World.
Yeah, because everyone hates that shit. I hate Disney. If you like Disney movies like The Lion King, I guess you'll like Dubai. Yeah, I mean, if you watch Aladdin and you're like Robin Williams is the best, I think you'll like Dubai, but like a normal human, I don't know. The fact that she nitpicks people and really makes them like make or break on those nitpicky things makes her almost impossible to like or root for. We're trying to root for you. Everyone wants to see everyone find love. You shouldn't be devoid of it. But if every person you seem to have a little minor issue with for everything they do, including places like Dubai as places they want to visit or they want to relax in a hypothetical for more than 3 days, you're gonna always lose. It'll always come back to bite you in the ass, and not in the way you want, Aparna.
Yeah,
In between.
and you became a real person.
Kind of did some soul searching and made me realize I loved law, so...
I'm like, huh, that's weird.
It's not weird. It's actually refreshing and amazing that a man or a person would love the career they're in, because so many people go into jobs they just don't like and don't realize you spend most of your life doing that, even more so than time with your partner. And so you got to love your job because you're going to be doing it and making that money to survive and fend for the people you care about. You might as well love it. Shaker or Shekhar loves his job, and all power to him. It's not weird to love your job. It's a damn flex.
Do you like being a lawyer?
No, not particularly.
Oh, okay.
I'm pleasantly surprised. He's extremely easy to talk to. That's kind of nice.
Well, that makes one of you, doesn't it? Because now I'm pissed off that you seem almost judgmental that he likes his job and wants to travel to places like Dubai. How is he supposed to have a conversation and say the things he needs to when you're busy judging or nitpicking everything he does? This man is a shaker. He wants to shake his ass and flex it, okay?
Right? Are some people really that uncomplicated?
So what's like your ideal vacation then?
Don't say anything about 3-day vacation. Shaker, don't say 3-day anything. Don't say 10 days. Don't say 4 days. Don't even say vacation, okay?
He's definitely very interesting. I wanted to know more, like when they...
So Aparna leaves the date feeling actually, to my surprise, honestly, like she wants more. She really likes Shaker. Enough that she actually says she was feeling sad that the date even ended.
I know.
You did not want a lawyer.
I know.
Yeah.
I hate lawyers. I don't know. We'll see if he wants to see me again.
Yeah, I don't.
So she's really, like, again, to my surprise, happy and wants to see him again. Then they interview Shaker, who's packing his bags in a really funny scene being like, yo, I don't think we have anything in common. I'm gonna leave now. Take care.
I don't honestly think we have too much in common other than the fact that we're both attorneys.
He was not interested in Aparna because he thinks that she's very, very rigid.
You might as well say it, Sima auntie. Shaker doesn't think that she's right, and you think that she's mentally a bit out there. Shaker he's a bit too pure for this woman, Aparna, and I think that she would just whittle him down into something he isn't. Some spirits are meant to be free, and instead of trying to bottle them, you should nurture them. That's all I'm saying. So we go back to Nadia now, and this is after 2 failed dates. One was just a normal one. The other one almost got serious. So she's recovering, and hopefully things go good.
Things didn't work between Nadia and Vinay. So I know 2 new boys who are ready to settle down.
This is Shaker.
Just like Tinder. Sima auntie is like, yo, if Aparna doesn't want Shaker, I'm going to shake him onto you. And she gives Nadia a shaker. I guess she just pawns Shaker around until someone actually shakes him into their life.
It's time to stop.
Chicago, open to relocating to other cities and states.
He's cute too.
Oh, he owned his own.
He owns his own.
The mom seems to like him. She said he's cute. She looked at him with those eyes that if the father looked at her, he would have to have the talk with the mom. And then the father looks at him and he's like, he owns his own law firm. I will pick him if you don't. And that is the end of the episode. We move on to episode 4, and it looks like Shaker and Nadia might be having a date.
Going into the date, I was feeling excited, but I was not trying to get my hopes up.
Episode 4 starts off with a Sima auntie special. Not only is the man introduced to the girl on a first date, but the mom is there too. But this time, Shaker is... Actually, all the guys on the show have handled meeting parents as well as the date for the first time extremely well. I don't know how I would feel. Maybe kind of a little abrasive, a little nervous. But hey, he handles it really well, and they go on a boat in Chicago.
Do you guys want anything to drink, or?
I could do a coffee, actually.
Coffee? Do you want anything, auntie?
I was gonna say I could do a mimosa. Everyone's gonna drink, then I'll drink too.
In a really cute moment, just by the way, I feel like this is a moment that gets glossed over on the series. He asks Nadia if she wants anything, and she says she wants a coffee. This time, if you go back to the first date she was on, she wanted a mimosa, and the dude sort of judged her for it. Not out loud, but he could probably tell by the way he ordered, like, I'll have an orange juice. Thank you very much. Some of us don't drink 10 in the morning. She'll have a mimosa. But yeah, Nadia orders a coffee, but the mom says, hey, can I have a mimosa? Because it's not her date. And Shaker is like, yeah, okay. And then Nadia's like, yeah, let me bust it open, get a mimosa as well. So mimosas all around. The fact that she was being more conservative means that she was really trying to put her best foot forward, but it looks like she doesn't have to hide anything with Shaker.
He looks kind of nice so far. I'm excited. I hope it happens.
But the date goes really well. In fact, it goes so well that the mom gives us one of these. It's not just a thumbs up, but just a thumbs up is like, you did well. But when you have to move back and thumbs up, oh, you did real well. So we move back to Aparna, who is looking for her new love. And this is actually a good scene. It's very important for her backstory.
I actually don't mind being rejected. People can like you and you cannot like them and vice versa. I mean, that's what dating is about.
And just like that, I mean, she says one of the most logical, sound, and amazing things that you can hear someone say. It's almost refreshing to hear in dating these days. She had a good date. She wanted to see him again. He didn't want to see her. Instead of holding any reservations, she just says, that's dating, that's life. It happens, and moves on in the healthiest way possible. And I think everyone who's doing dating can take a page from her book just on that alone, because that is some good shit. That is a very healthy way of dealing with things. Good for her.
But if someone doesn't like me, I think that's their problem, not mine.
Never mind what I said. Back to Aparna time.
Because I like me.
I have suggested her to see an astrologer who can see a horoscope and tell her if it's a good time for marriage.
So, yes, in an almost Disney-like sequence, Sima auntie's like, yeah, look, I'm taking my day off. Aparna, I don't know. And she sends through an astrologer or an astronomer or some ass kind of guy, and he breaks through the door and starts astronomizing her. He's reading the stars to actually see if she'll find love. And apparently she needs that. But this guy is the funniest dude unintentionally. The way he speaks, he like pauses, then speaks really loudly. He's like a jerky character from a Disney movie. He's like Mushu if Mushu had like one of those buffering things after talking.
Passions and your emotions, your heart guide you to the direction.
God, man, you can't fall asleep in front of this guy. Start rubbing his hands together like Birdman, then he starts saying, your heart will guide you to the direction. You're like, oh, shit. He's saying some real Disney shit. Your heart will guide you to the direction. It means nothing, but he's saying it.
And you look inside, you'll find that real happiness sometimes escapes you. We should drive the bus for quite a bit,
Yeah, then he says some shit about happiness escaping her. And then he just jumps off the deep end. I think his meds ran out. Nobody gave him his meds. He then starts saying shit like Jupiter drives you like a bus, and sometimes it could be 16-year bus drive, which honestly sounds like something that even if you were on LSD, you'd wake up and be like, that's too much.
Right now, Lord Jupiter is driving your bus.
You don't even believe that, bro. Right now, Jupiter Lord is driving your bus. Very good. Lord Jupiter, I didn't even know Jupiter was, I thought it was a planet. Now it's a religion. This guy is just teaching me a lot right now.
On June 19th, when Lord Venus will become your navigator.
What the hell is even that?
I'm going to be in New York City running a 5K that day.
Okay, so apparently in 8 weeks, Venus is going to open up the marriage Lord, and then he will send it the ring onto her finger. And she's running a race on that day, so maybe she can run through someone's mind as well. I don't know. But I've never seen someone look at the planets and be like, yo, Pluto is saying you gotta smash right now, man. You gotta, oh yeah, there's someone gonna smash you. I'm looking at the planets and they're saying you're gonna smash. I'm sorry if you believe in that. Maybe it's true, but the way he was saying it just sounded like even he didn't believe that. But we go back to Shaker and Nadia, and they seem to be hitting it off really well.
As if we've known each other for a long time. It was nice. It was refreshing.
And I had like the best day ever.
When she smiles, she looks like that guy from Scrubs. So I just put the thing there. But yeah, their date went super well to the point that Shaker wants to have another one. And I think Nadia does too. So even though Vinay was a vinyas, it turns out that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And that light is a man called Shaker.
So happy for Nadia and Shaker. They worked hard for the girl. And then finally they are so happy.
Of course, it ends with Sima auntie patting her own back by saying she's worked really hard to find this poor girl, someone like Shaker. Sima auntie, they didn't get married yet. Your job is not over. I thought you were like a marriage type expert. This is not just one date successful type. Okay? It's not over yet.
And really, I think this is a great, great blessings what I got from everybody.
It's a blanket, a fleece that once I'm...
Yeah, so Sima auntie thinks this is it. They're getting married. Everything's gonna happen. She's patting herself on the back. She's blessing herself right now, just thinking that the job's all done. It's absolutely not. And I don't want to spoil this for you, but they do make an appearance on season 2. So it's a little bit of a cliffhanger right now. I don't know if we see them again, but let me take you back to Aparna, who is getting a backstory from her mom. And for all the times that I thought Aparna is like a bit too much, I can now see where she gets it from, because we have a very interesting story about marriage and arranged marriage and how it works in India and why Aparna is the way she is.
When I was 19, I got engaged. I was put under a lot of pressure. My parents were, and that was transferred to me. I was very unhappy.
So, we're talking about like how marriage worked in India and how it worked back at the time. She was 19 when she got engaged. Imagine being 19. Can you go back to when you were 19? Or if you're not 19, can you imagine you at 19? Do you think you'd be ready for a lifetime commitment? Now, I told you, my grandparents got married. My grandmother got married when she was 17. She did not learn how to read or write or do anything other than cook. And she went straight from her house to their house. For a girl, for a person in today's society, that seems not just unrealistic, but almost inhumane. And so Aparna's mom was not happy. And can you imagine making a lifetime commitment that will make you unhappy? It's very, very sad. Something that should be loved, the most freeing thing of all, makes you the most caged when it's with the wrong person.
So I want my child to have every possible choice.
Now we can see this is why Aparna is so picky.
And because of her lack of choice, she spoiled Aparna with choice, almost to the fact that Aparna doesn't seem to, well, I'm sure she very much appreciates it. She's just really picky. And so on one hand, we have someone, her mom, who had zero choice, and now we have Aparna, who's so filled with choices that she almost cannot make a decision. But it gives us a huge backstory and insight into why certain people do certain things, and it humanizes that. The mom, for all the, stuck up nature she is, or for the fact that she's so picky, is because she didn't have that choice and she just wants her daughter to not fall in the same pit that she did.
It's too big.
This is Texas.
So with that being said though, Aparna does open up towards the second part of the series, and she then looks at maybe herself a little more and is like, maybe I should be more open and go on these dates and ask guys a little more what they're doing and stop judging. And it looks like she's actually doing herself a good service by going on these dates.
I make the best sangria ever.
You do?
I lived in Madrid for a little while.
Is that a skill that you have to pick up when you learn
Yeah.
in Madrid? If this business takes off, you have to figure out a way to scale it.
I like it. It makes sense.
I gotta say, from looking at her and the way that she looks, she's more engaged, she's listening to the guy, she's actually really trying, and I liked it. It looks good on her.
Isn't this a really sweet Chardonnay?
I thought you were talking about me. I was like, thanks.
You have my phone number too, and we can definitely stay in touch.
And that sort of like ends her dating spree. And the guy that she's on a Zoom call with, I think she likes the most. So we'll check back in with Aparna later. But it's episode 4 or 5 right now. I think it's episode 4. And at the very end of episode 4, halfway through the 8-episode season, they introduced another dude. They actually go up to episode 6 or 7 introducing new people, even though the next episode they're there and then never there again. The show has a habit of not finishing their storylines. And imagine if American Idol had contestants that sung, got through to the next round, and then you never heard of them again. Would you not be a bit perplexed as to what the hell happened? Every time I try and figure out what the hell happened, I don't know. But we're introduced to a new guy, and his name is Yasar. I'm just gonna call him Yasar.
Like, wait, what if she really hates Hellboy? What if she really despises comic books?
So we've looked at 2 girls in the series, and I thought it was interesting and appropriate to look at a guy. I picked him because he is a big fat nerd. But he's lovely at heart.
How do you feel about the whole 7-year age difference?
I think it's a non-issue.
I'm excited to meet Manisha. It'll be fun.
Can't believe it's happening.
So, in Sima fashion, she's helping this guy, Yas, and instead of bringing the guy to the family, this time she's bringing the girl to meet the family on the first date. This has worked 0% of the time, Sima Auntie. I am almost surprised you're even still doing this. If a dentist was using a hammer to get out teeth and it didn't work, it's not like he would keep doing it. But for some reason, Sima Auntie keeps repeating this process because in her head, she is just doing the Lord's work.
Completely out of the wheelhouse. No one in my generation of our family at least has done anything like this before.
Come. I hope they will be a good match.
Yeah, why don't you maybe let them meet in a private setting before you have them meet the family, huh? You're meeting the fuckers right now. Sima, stop.
So is this your first time in Austin? Have you been before?
This is, yeah. First time in Texas, first time in Austin.
First time in your house, first time meeting your family, dad, old man, older man, auntie, auntieette, fat man, you. Nice to meet you.
My mom, dad, and the most important family member, my dog, Jogi.
It's his name too.
Oh, he did not look happy at that. Your dog's name is Jogi? This guy's a Jogi right here. He's like looking at them like, I'll kill you both. You get married, it's a 2-for-1 package. I'll OJ that shit. Jogi. You Jogi about my name one more time, it's over.
He's very friendly. I was a little nervous coming in, but he definitely made it easy and made us feel very comfortable.
But the meeting goes pretty well, honestly. And this girl holds her own, so it looks like Sima Auntie just throws everyone into the fire pit, and if they make it out, they're good. Just a little backstory on Yas. He's a teacher, and he is a nerd, and he is looking for just someone to have that companionship with. And by all accounts, he seems like a very good, wholehearted, innocent dude. Someone who's pretty rare, but also maybe, I guess sometimes it's hard to find love. But let me take you back to Aparna, who, that guy from Zoom, she liked so much she wanted to take goat yoga-ing with. That's a cool thing.
Do you do yoga often or no?
I used to. We got to meet on Skype before this. It's just the first date.
Skype is like Zoom for old people.
Guys, that's what they're trading.
Trade what?
All those videos.
We have to do something, and we have to do it now.
Just by the way.
Who's that?
But hey, man, this is a cool first date, I gotta say.
I don't think it gives you the full picture of who the person is and how you guys get along, but I'm interested to know more about him, how he got to where he was today. I would love to see him again.
The date goes really well. The goats stand on people, and once the goats stand on you and choose you, you know you're going on a second date. But Aparna is open enough to want to go on a second date, and she also says something, again, very logical and very sound. She says on a first date, you don't fully know or fully get the picture because you can't. One date, the first meeting is not going to give you everything you need to know about that person. So she's open to meeting him again, and I think there's been like a spark of change in her that signifies she's growing, even though she thinks she's perfect, to be a more open person. So hopefully that works out. I'm rooting for her.
Like insurance for a successful marriage. Because I've seen that the two...
So, Sima auntie, while she has spare time to not do anything except read biodatas, then goes to a different person, an astrologer, to see if people will work out or not. Because last time she went to the face reader, but this guy reads the stars.
सुशील जी, इसका कब है जोक ये इसका अपर्णा का शादी का?
तो बहुत अच्छा टाइम अगर
Holy crap, yeah, she's asking for a date for her wedding. Oh, this is good. I went to a tarot reader once. She said, I will have no money problems and no girl problems. She is so wrong that I need my money and my girl back.
This is the second Pandit who has predicted that Aparna's time has come soon for the marriage. So I'm very excited.
Wait, do you tell her that? What do you mean? Her date of marriage, it's coming? It came? She got married? Did she know? What? What is happening? Anyway, Sima auntie calls Aparna, hopefully with the good news, I guess.
You seems very positive, very positive.
What if this is just a 17-year streak of bad luck? What if things are about to turn around?
I don't know if I like her or don't like her, because on one hand, I'm like, within a few days, you can't possibly change all of your things. And you clearly said you didn't even want to change because you're pretty much perfect. On the other hand, she's so unflinchingly realistic and / optimistic about things that she will say things like, 17-year streak of bad luck gonna end tomorrow. And you gotta respect that, to be honest. She's still going for it, man. 34, she's going strong. She's meeting people. If they don't match with her, she's not putting expectations on them. I respect that. I didn't think I'd like her as much as I did, but I respect the way she handles certain situations. She's definitely you either love her or you hate her kind of person, but I both her.
What kind of wedding do you want?
Vineyard, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
There's no cake needed. I don't need flowers.
At a wedding? And cake or flowers? God damn. She is definitely in the minority category. I don't want cake or flowers or people at my wedding. I don't even want you at my wedding, to be honest. I just want to sit down in my hotel and look at the view. And maybe if you leave for 10 hours, I will get some peace.
I agree with the simplicity, though. I think a lot of people spend too much on a wedding. One thing that I would like is just to have the people that, I care about.
Aparna's really, she's different. She's different. In a show called Indian Matchmaking, where they explicitly say Indian marriages are a business that is booming, you have two people who would agree that marriage is sort of overrated in the sense that the weddings are too focused on too much. So what a almost refreshing take this is. She then says a controversial thing, and I want to know your opinion on it.
Here's a little bit more controversial thing. What if you had no kids at the wedding?
Oh, 100%. There's never going to be a child at my wedding.
How do you guys feel about that? No child at a wedding? I'm back and forth on the thing. I don't know. I'd like to know your opinions in the comments, honestly. I can see both sides. I think it's cool when you have kids at a wedding. I went to a couple weddings. I was a good kid, though. I didn't cry, nothing like that. I don't know. Imagine if you had a crying baby at the wedding and it's your day and you just need that day to be amazing. And then you have like 3 or 4 kids who are just fighting, puking, pooping themselves. At the same time, again, it's cool to have these kids there. They'll grow up with these memories, be like,
oh, I was at Auntie Titty's wedding.
Don't know who Auntie Titty is, but... So, it looks like it's going really well between Aparna and her new boo, Jay, which is awesome. But let's go back to Yas.
You have a normal, agreeable conversation until you find something to disagree on, and then it spirals out of control as the argument takes the bulk of those 3 hours.
That's not good. So they met and they were good, and then they had Zoom calls and it's not as good. Here's some real shit. It's not gonna be the same when it's in distance. And sometimes you have this amazing connection in person, and over distance it becomes hard. So then you have to ask yourself, is it worth fighting for? And if the answer is yes, then hopefully you guys can make a date where you see each other, things will be okay in person, because believe it or not, that physicality, that being there, that human touch matters more than you think it does. But in that time, it's very important to know why you're fighting. And I don't mean fighting against someone, but fighting for them, because you will have disagreements. It is so easy to get irritable over things like texting because you can't tell about the tonality, or things like communication when you're over places, time differences, this, that. Everything's working against you in a long distance relationship. But as I've come to learn, it is probably one of the more romantic things in order to wait for someone, knowing that you could be getting someone in your own city, but you love that person enough to want to wait. And I know all too well that if it's worth it, you gotta do it.
Being okay with, homeschooling my kids, for example.
Of course I'm gonna talk about education in relation to my own children. If you're not gonna talk to me on what to do.
This is something that I don't really like about you, and I don't think that I should have to like about you.
Oh shit, maybe I was wrong. God damn. Hopefully, I was hoping if you're on Zoom, you look at your partner and you're like, I know you're fighting with me, man, but you kind of beautiful. You're kind of sexy right now. Yeah, man, you're gonna have disagreements. They come all the time. Are they worth fighting for? That's the only question. You're gonna fight with someone. Is that person worth it? The answer is unequivocally yes. Fine, let's work on that communication. It'll get better. It's gonna get better. If you love that person, it will get better. Because if you love them, you know you don't want to leave them. These two look like a mess.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
By the 4th or 5th phone call, the doubts were rock solid.
That was only 4 or 5 phone calls. Oh, God damn, you guys are done for. God damn. I thought that was like 100. That was just 4 in a row? You just disagreeing about everything?
Damn. She didn't want to talk anymore.
Really high ambitions for their career. Like, that's really important to me. I think we come from 2 different places.
So clearly there's a disagreement with Yas and his partner, who I forgot her name, and because of the distance as well, and the fact they don't agree on virtually anything, especially their career choices, which is a huge thing in a relationship. She looks at him and she says, this might not be the best thing.
Like, there are some things that I can definitely say that we have in common. I don't see where our paths cross.
So yeah, they both have very different visions for the future, and one day she calls and says, I don't think our paths are gonna cross. And that is that. He says, yes, best of luck to you. She says, best of luck to him. And it looks like our boy Yas has to move on to find someone else. Sima auntie always gets it wrong. One thing you need to know is that if you're on Indian matchmaking, if you're being match-made, you're pretty much single for the rest of your life. Maybe not for the rest of your life, but as long as the show is going.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Everything.
Yeah.
And I hope you find a really great life partner.
Thanks, bud. You too.
Friend zone the shit out of her. I've never heard someone say bud at the end of it. I hope you find a good life partner. Thanks, bro. Thanks, brosif. See you later, cuz. I'll see you later, bruh. Homie. Whatever it do, my man. Alright, my man. I'll see you.
He's such a nice person. He'll keep you happy. And I feel very strongly The girl should be open-minded and love him for who he is.
That's true. I mean, Sima Aunty's right. Someone should love him for who he is. But if a person is concerned about financial stability and stuff like that, it's not unreasonable. So nobody's in the wrong here, and this man is painting his figurines, and you know he's going to find someone else to put those figurines on because he's a good guy. And if he's a good guy, you shouldn't worry about it. Just move on to the next one, buddy. You'll be all right. Episode 6 now.
Hi, nice to meet you. Hello.
They both have similar qualities, they both have sense of humor, and they are jolly.
So, Sima Aunty, knowing that Yas has had a relationship that didn't work out, thinks he's a good guy, and tries a technique that she's never tried before. This time, she gets a girl and sends her into the guy's home while the family is there. Oh wait, she's done that every time and it's not worked out. Thanks, Sima Aunty. As usual, being insane.
I'm definitely hopeful of meeting with Rashi because at the end of the day, all I can do is trust in Sima, hope that Rashi is the one.
Okay, anybody who's trusting in Sima, you need to see more shit because wake up. Sima Aunty has so far progressively ruined everybody's life by giving them shitty matches and then slightly less shitty matches. Sima Aunty is just the Mr. Krabs of people, influenced by money and nothing else.
So I just finished veterinary school. I graduated like 3 weeks ago. Thank you.
Nice.
You guys want a thing to drink, or we have green tea or chai?
Do you want something?
You know, some green tea would be nice.
Green
I got you.
So the meeting so far is pretty bubbly. It's pretty nice. They're both jolly people. And this guy seems like good to get along with. I feel like it's always, you know, first impressions sometimes are good, but once you get to the nitty gritty, maybe it doesn't always work out. Hopefully this one works out a little better because even the last meeting seemed to go well. We'll see how it goes once the first meeting's done.
I can help. You already have it running.
I already had it running. I was really surprised when she got up to come with me to serve tea. It's just a whole other level of cool to me.
So he really liked that when he was serving the tea, she came to talk some tea with him. You know, that got some brownie points in her book. And, you know, he's the catch right now, so she's doing it.
More match with Vyasa than I could think, you know, that they were really so comfortable that like they were high school friends, and so that was wonderful.
The mom seems to like it. They seem to banter really well. But as usual, the Netflix playing the happy music and shit is just a false ploy because that could go nowhere. Love is blind. Every time you see the people in the pods, everyone's happy. They're on their knees begging for other people to suck them off. 2 weeks later, they're talking about why they hate each other. I am not falling for it. I want to see if it goes somewhere.
You ready to get some lunch?
Yeah. Okay, so we're born as creatures of never being happy.
God, that's depressing and true. What the hell? I didn't know the show was Carl Jung's side chick. God, we're born unhappy and depressed and shit. You just named my life, girl.
So I'm always comparing myself to other people, you know. Why am I not married? Why did I get that scholarship?
Most people don't talk about these things before a marriage.
I pride myself on being open. It's hard and it's difficult.
Right.
Damn, she's an open book. But does Yas want to read her? I don't know. Because when I'm eating ice cream and someone gets philosophical, I want to shut them up because I want to enjoy my 2 minutes of ice cream before it hits me in the guts.
I think that because it's such a huge part of my existence, the story has to be shared with a person who I'm thinking about sharing my life with.
So, the first lunch/dinner/ice cream goes well enough that Yas is back in his classroom talking about something, but this time he has a secret to share, and it's a pretty devastating one, mind you. I don't know if you know, earlier they said the mom, she was single when she moved over, but now there's some real shit as to where the dad was in their life, and Yas is going to share that.
Mom would always tell me, when you get angry, you remind me of your father, which was a really terrifying thing to hear as a child. He did bad things.
Yeah, so his father left the family, divorced, and he did some bad things. What is the bad thing? Maybe he was in a Shah Rukh Khan movie. I don't know. But the truth is, it was none of that. It was far worse.
My father went to prison when I was very young for a conspiracy to commit murder against his ex-wife.
That's crazy. And that's how the episode ends. They just do that and then drop the bombshell. So apparently, his father tried to nix his mother. That's crazy. And we move on to episode 7, which is almost the last one. Not much happens in this episode, but it continues about this. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that, but it does get brought up later. Episode 7, though, starts off with Sima auntie doing the thing that she always does, going to that dude who reads people's faces. This time, she's trying to read Yas and his partner off the moment.
और सबको हंसी खुशी गर्भ श्रीमंत धनवान घर का नहीं है अरेंज जैसा मैरिज होगा इसका ठीक
So apparently this guy is really good. He keeps everyone smiling. He's super poor and he's destined to have an arranged marriage because Lord knows this man is not getting out of his own wool. Apparently, according to this guy. Crazy stuff to be bringing up on episode 7, I gotta say. What happened to Aparna? What happened to Nadia? We'll find out in episode 8. Or maybe we won't.
तो अब इनको क्या करना आगे इनका क्या रहेगा भविष्य?
इसके साथ जमा तो इसका बहुत टिकेगा.
If they get along, this is a strong match. Are you actually just making this shit up? If they have babies, they're probably pretty good. They probably had sex if they had babies. Probably. I don't know. I'm just reading his face, not his dick.
इसका योग नहीं जमा तो इसका भंग है. आगे होगा, सिद्ध होगा और खुश प्रसन्न रहेंगे और सिद्ध होगा.
Okay, so this guy says the match will surely work out, but before he says that, he literally says if it doesn't work out, her future will be bleak and he will get an arranged marriage. So he basically gave everyone every option at every given time and also said, surely this will work out. Like when someone says, surely this can't go wrong, and it proceeds to be like the Titanic. I don't know what to say. She goes to her dude to get things done. She can't make her own matches, so she goes to the face reader. He gives vague answers. They go to astrologer. He says things like Jupiter is a bus driver. Nobody's right in the circle of shit. The next scene is Vyas are on the phone, and he's telling Sima auntie about what happened with his dad.
After listening to Vyasar's family history, I was so surprised. You had talked to Rashi about your father.
Not in so many words.
So Sima auntie is concerned, and she asks, have you told your partner about this? And he says, no, not really.
So extrovert, you're creative, you're good in cooking, you make everybody laugh, you have so many qualities. I think this thing should be clear, yeah.
He basically asks Sima, is this going to be an issue? She says, bro, you're so good at cooking. Doesn't neither here nor there. Then she says, you need to make that clear. And she's right. It's probably important, especially at the start of a relationship. You throw all your cards on the table and you're like, this is what I have. Do you like my hand? Not just physically, metaphorically, but also since you're physically kissing my hand, thank you.
But it's so important to be honest. But the most important thing for Vyasar is being completely honest.
You got to be honest. The most important thing is to be honest. The most honest thing is to be completely honest. Thank you, Sima auntie, for reaching the word limit in the English speech nobody asked you to give. Thank you. I'm glad he needs to be honest. Yes.
This is the stuff that takes time to work through, that you have to take time to feel comfortable or ready to share. I'm not there yet.
It sort of ends with him saying he needs time to share that and he's not really ready yet. You may be wondering what happens next in episode 8. Do they talk it out? Do they not? And the truth is, I don't know. Because the shit just ends.
Honesty and trust have to be at the core of this. I don't know how it's gonna work, but it's something that has to come out. I have to do it for me.
That's literally how it ends. He says it's something that has to come out, and they never revisit this couple. And spoiler alert, they don't revisit them in season 2 either. Spoiler alert, they don't revisit them in season 3. I have no idea if he told her, if he doesn't. It's a cliffhanger that doesn't get revisited because the show doesn't give a shit about its audience, and for some reason, no matter how hard I look at the audience reviews, nobody seems to think it's a problem that nobody ever gets resolved on the show. So, it's episode 8. You may be thinking if they're not on episode 8, maybe Aparna is. No, she's not on. Her and Jay, not on. How about Nadia? No. Nadia and Shekhar, not on. Now, those two are in season 2, both of those two, so it's not necessarily a cliffhanger, and we actually do get to visit them. So if you like this series at the end, please tell me. I'll do the second deep dive for you, but nobody gets revisited because episode 8 has nothing to do with anything. It's just a bunch of stuff being said, and at the end, they visit couples who have been married and talk about how they met. It sort of is a bookend to Indian matchmaking. But I just want to say, in regards to Vyasar, him and his dad having this tumultuous relationship is not a bad thing. In the Western world, when we look at this, it's almost assumed that if you have a tough childhood, your partner will pick up the slack and love you even more. Usually a opening for a partner to be like, I will be what you didn't have. In the Indian culture especially, because family is so important, having some stuff like that is seen as a weakness. In the Indian culture, having things such as mental health struggles like depression is seen as a weakness. So to have a father who had a bad past will be like bringing shame on the family. It's embarrassing, and that for a lot of families is a deal breaker. That's why Vyasa is not so keen to bring it up, because he knows to a lot of people this might be too much. And again, while you and I are probably like, that's not only just okay, I'll be the person that you need me to be, in a lot of brown families, caste things, this might be a deal breaker. So I don't know how it's going to go, and I never will, because the show sucks. But let's move on to episode 8, and then I'll talk to you about the ending.
So important. I help guide their children to make the pair successful. And the joy of bringing two families together
is the joy that you haven't yet achieved. So don't pat yourself on the back yet, because nobody actually made it, Sima Auntie.
We met when
we were 16.
When we were 16.
As I said, episode 8 is just an amalgamation of people who have been married talking about how they've met. And it's really cute. But I need you guys to realize that this is not the day and time that we live in. Life was a bit simpler back then, and I don't mean that in a bad way. In fact, it probably was easier to meet someone because you didn't have all these extra curricular things that we have now. Because we're spoiled with choice, it may be a good thing to find the exact right person whom you love, but at the same time, there are so many obstacles in a way that you can become disillusioned. It's something worth noting.
I was 19 and a half. We met at the time of the wedding only.
See the girl, you like her, you've seen her biodata, that's it.
Very, very lucky. The luckiest person to have him.
तो वही है जिसको अपने बोलते हैं made for each other.
It is very sweet that these couples are talking and professing their love, but it is equally as important and honest to worth noting that Aparna, the mother there, and many other people, probably even more so, had had that experience where they felt unhappy and unfulfilled during their marriages. So while we're looking at Netflix and we're looking at the happy couples that are just amazing and all power to them, it's really important to note that there are two sides to the story.
Arranged marriage, actually, it's not so bad because you try to work towards adjusting.
No, clothing, that spandex that you fit into is good to work towards adjusting. You'll fit into it eventually. But unlike a marriage, I can take off the spandex. You know what I mean? If you're arranged for a marriage and this is a business partnership more than anything else, yeah, it's conceivable. Maybe you might find love, but love seems to be the only freeing thing that we have in this world, and it's a tough commodity to find. So to actually have that choice where it is nobody else's decision but yours and your partner is a beautiful one at that. And I firmly believe in the Western tradition of finding the person you love for the sake of loving them despite their flaws, not because it's a good business decision. If I want to go into business, I will get a business partner. If I want to go into love, I will get a partner. And hopefully, maybe those things will align. But until then, I'm not getting an arranged marriage.
Whether it's an arranged marriage or a love marriage, somebody has to play Cupid.
It's amazing, it has works.
And that's how it ends. They sort of propel the idea that arranged marriage is able to stand the test of time. And hey, it is, because you can't actually get divorced. That, again, is seen as a weakness in the brown society. Indian Matchmaking, a show about matchmaking starring Sima Auntie, who cannot seem to find a match. At the end, throws together all this shit about like how people do get married all the time. She has not done any of that to help them, so I give her a 0 out of 10. The people in the show all don't get a resolution, but we do see some of them in season 2, so hopefully you'd want me to do that, because I feel like this is a bit unresolved, and I don't want to be like Indian Matchmaking. And thirdly, if you're brown, it is tough sometimes. It is not easy. And I think, like, I didn't talk much about caste And that, I think, in episode 2, I get more into that because it becomes more of a prominent thing. But in episode 1, in the deep dive, we learn that arranged marriage and love marriage are 2 wholly separate things. Although I can, I guess, see the merit of arranged marriages, I don't fully believe that they have a place in modern society. Although I'm not going to stop anyone who wants to. Hell, in 5 years, I might need one because I might just be homeless on the street otherwise, the way that I'm going. If you're brown, this probably hits home, and if you weren't, this probably at least gives you a little more insight into the culture. Until then, I will see you. I think this has been a good deep dive. Hopefully you'll want to see more, and yeah, man, if you don't want to see more, Sima. All right, I'm leaving. Hey, I'm just